Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Christine. I'm going to try this for the second time. I tried filming it and the phone will not stop ringing. And I'm not in the mood to do editing. It's one of my hated things about videotaping is editing because my program sucks. So, the first book I finished was Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein. I gave this a 3. I didn't like it as much as I wanted to. It is Verity getting caught by the Nazis in occupied France. She's got her friend Maddie's identification papers. So they want all the codes and all the secrets. And her telling Maddie's story is kind of boring. Once Maddie takes over and tells her own story, it gets interesting. So I gave it a 3. I wanted to give it more, but it was a slog for me to get through it. And I'm a World War II buff, so I'm a little disappointed in this. So I'm going to do the run through of a couple of books because they're all kind of tied in, except for the first one. So I finished Vacations from Hell, and it is 5 short stories by Libba Bray, Cassandra Clare, Claudia Gray, Maureen Johnson, and Sarah Mlynowski. And there's no picture here, but I only liked the first story, and it was about vampires on a cruise ship. Kids go on a cruise, 2 girls go on a cruise ship, friends, and they meet up with somebody else, and people have gone missing from these cruises. They think it's vampires, and that's the only one I liked. The other ones I gave 3 stars to, so that was a 4-star. The other 3 were okay. It was, I don't even remember the one story about the Mirror House in Jamaica. I really can't remember it, and that was Cassandra Clare's. Yeah, on a Jamaican beach. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, now I kind of remember. But they're really not that memorable story-wise. So I just gave it a 3 overall. There was one, they go back, they go to France. 2 sisters go to France. They're supposed to meet up with a family friend. He doesn't show. They meet up with a couple other people that are weird. Yeah. So they're just meh. So then the next 3 books are all from the Wayward Children series. The first one was book 4.5, and it was just Juice Like Wounds by Shauna Maguire. This is what was missing from book 4. This is the story I wanted in book 4. It is Mockery's story, because in book 4 it says something about mockery and you just get totally lost. This is Mockery's story. So I gave that one gave it a 4. Actually, the next 3 I gave a 4. Then I read Come Tumbling Down. Let's see if I can just do this. And that is involved. Come Tumbling Down is Jack and Jill are back in the sea. It's another about Jack and Jill. And if you've read the series, you know who Jack and Jill are. And then Across the Green Grass Fields is so far my favorite. It is a new world, the Hooflands, and it has centaurs and kelpies and unicorns, and I loved it. I'm not a horse fan. Loved it though. So yeah. And then I finished Echoes of Titanic. I gave it a 4. It's about a woman who's on the Titanic with her cousin and her uncle on their way to America, and to meet up with her dad. Obviously the Titanic sinks. She still makes it to America, starts a company. So you get her timeline. Sorry, it's a dual timeline. You get her timeline, and you get her great-great-granddaughter's timeline, because she's part of the business. I wish this would stop. Apollo's on a rampage. So there's some funky things happening with the business. So that's how it ties in. But it's also a coming back to romance and a second chance. Coming back to romance. Second chance romance and coming back to your faith. It's not heavy on the religion though. So that's nice. Not that I have a problem with that. It's just not overly preachy. It's just a little bit. So there's that. And I found that the story picked up once Cole came back into the scene. And that's the second chance romance. And I think that was just before the halfway mark. It took me a couple of days to read the first 50%. It took me a day to read the second half. That's how much it picked up. So then I finished The Dead by Charlie Higson. It's book 2 in the Dead series. I'm thinking that's what it is. The Enemy series. However, it's like a prequel, but you kind of need to read... Don't read this one first. It kind of ties into the first one at the end. I didn't catch on to why it was... I'm like, why am I reading this now? Like, why was this not published first? I can understand now. So it's zombies. Kids, anybody over 14 has died or become a zombie because of this virus. It affects everybody that's over 14. And yeah, so I enjoyed it. Don't get attached to any characters. They die. So yeah, zombies, kids. It's kind of like Lord of the Flies meets The Walking Dead, if you know what those are. I'm sure you know what The Walking Dead is. Lord of the Flies is an older book. And then I finished The Trouble with Honor by Julia London, is book 1 in the Cabot Sisters series. And looking on Goodreads, there's only 3 books in the series, but there's 4 sisters, so I'm not sure if the 4th one is a thing or if she's even getting a book. But this is Honor's story, and Honor is the oldest of 4 girls, and she's got a stepbrother, and his father is on the verge of dying. Her mother got dementia, but they're trying to keep it secret because they need to get married to keep their status, because they feel that once the older brother or the stepbrother gets married, the new wife will kick them out, because the fiance has said as much, that they're going to kick her out. So the fiance's mother's a piece of work. Anyways, she meets George in a gambling hall and tries to get him to seduce the fiance of her stepbrother. Sparks fly. So yeah, I gave it a 4. I liked it. So that is what I've read this week. What I am currently reading is, I started listening to... Hey, Apollo. Come here. Him and his brother are too hyper. Yeah. So I started listening to Unsub by Meg Gardner, and it's book 1 in the Unsub series. See if I can... Oh, I wish this would stop doing this. There we go. It is kind of based on Zodiac. From what I hear, each book is based on another different serial killer in real life. But it's a girl's father in the 90s is plagued with this case. He's a detective, and it doesn't get solved. She is a narcotics agent, and the serial killer comes back. So she gets put to the murder investigations. That's where I got so far. If you can hear that, they're playing with a plastic bag. Or a ball, something. So I'm listening to that one. And I've just barely started these ones. But the first one is You Are Not Alone by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. This is about a group of girls. Well, first, one of the girls, who's not in the group yet, I'm assuming she's going to go in the group. Apollo! Nobody's into, but a girl witnesses another woman jumping in front of a subway, and she finds her necklace on the ground on the subway platform. And so she just goes to the girl's house. I can't remember how she found out, just to leave a flower. She feels bad that she didn't do enough to try and stop her from jumping. Then you find out that the girl that jumped is part of this private, secret group of women, and they sort of track each other. Not sure how what's going to happen, but I'm only 63 pages in, so yeah. And then the other book I'm reading, which I'm only like 20 pages in, 18 pages, is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I can already tell it's like Girl on the Train. It is a what is the phrase? Unreliable narrator. She's a drunk who finds a woman floating in the lake, and her husband had drowned in that lake the year previous, and it's October, so these are kind of like camps, and the other people across the lake are newbies. They just moved in the day before. So it kind of goes from before to now. And the now part is, it starts off with a cop has come to the house looking for the two people. And she's like, well, I just snuck in here to try and find them, and I can't find them. If you want to search the house, you can. And the cop's like, no, I'll take your word for it. And lo and behold, the husband is upstairs tied up. So then it goes to the before, and you learn about her saving the wife from drowning. That's as far as I am. She just got pulled out of the lake. So those are the three that I'm reading now. And then I'll probably pick up at least the first two anyways of these, because library due dates. And the first one is Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. I think it's like Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. 6 people go on an island, 5 people come back. So there's that one. And then Sabrina Jeffries, A Hellion in Her Bed, book 1, I think, in a series. But it's a historical romance. Scandal. The usual. The gambler. He's a gambler. She proposes a wager. So it's almost like this one. So yeah. And then if I have time, which who knows, You Can Only Die Once by Shelley Kostna, and it is book 1. I don't remember what the series is called, if there is any, but it's a northern Italian restaurant. One can savor brilliantly seasoned veal. I'm assuming the chef gets killed, maybe. Yeah. Spirited 76-year-old owner of her boyfriend gets killed. So, yeah. Nice cozy mystery. So that is my reading for this week. The van is supposed to get the fixing got finished. So we have the van now. We drop it off tomorrow morning or tonight. We prefer not to do it tonight because it's getting dropped off into a bad area of town where a lot of drug addicts are. And So we might just drop it off early in the morning to get the safety done. And then hopefully he can give his brother back his truck and we're just back to normal life again. Knock on wood. And I think that's it. I hope everybody is doing okay, and I hope everybody has an awesome week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.